Hello right bags, it's Jade, welcome to Survival News, your almost daily look at everything to do with survival games. Coming up on today, we're going to be talking about 7 Days to Die and an April Fool's prank joke that just really missed the mark for me. We're also going to be taking a look at Atlas has got a brand new update that has just gone live. First real substantial update in 5 months. Also, Rust gets an update today, adding a brand new farming system. TERRARIA's got an update today for consoles, and so much more. Also taking a quick heads up at Fallout 76, another small delay for that new update coming in. The Survivalists, a bunch of nice little indie games, and a hell of a lot more. You'll find the timestamps in the comments section if you want to jump straight ahead. So 7 Days to Die put a post out yesterday and I just really pissed me off. I thought it was a real middle finger to the console crowds. Maybe I'm taking it to heart too much. A lot of devs have kind of avoided April Fool's jokes this year. I think Conan Exiles put one up as well and ended up deleting it because I found it in the morning and then I couldn't find any trace of Conan putting IKEA furniture up. But anywho, let's concentrate on what 7 Days to Die did. Fun Pimps are proud to announce that 7 Days to Die has gone gold. After 7 long years of development and much deliberation, the team has decided it was long overdue and now the wait is finally over. We have now officially launched our first 7 Days to Die April Fool's joke. Yeah. About as funny as a zombie's arm falling off. Well, maybe it can be funny, but this isn't certainly funny. Honestly, it's just so tone deaf. It's so unfunny because of a variety of different reasons. Here we go. You're correct, Fun Pimps. It has been 7 long years. 7 long years that you've been saying you're going to be coming out of early access hopefully next year. Hopefully after this next update. You're on update number 19 about to appear and there's still no set release date. Now, really, when you look at development of games now, it doesn't really matter if they go 1.0, does it? When you look at other games that have gone 1.0, think of Rust when it finally hit 1.0. There wasn't much of a big deal about it. Some other games have hit 1.0 and they've just carried on. They've just carried on updating their game. And I think it can be a real interesting situation where you have a 1.0 release date. People can get really geared up for it. Helps present a lot of hype and a lot of news. And you can really add a big update to it and it gets a lot of new players coming back to play the game. But like I said, other developers like Rust, they did it just under the radar and actually they had their best year, their best player numbers months after 1.0 when they actually kept updating the game. So it's not necessarily a big deal saying you're going 1.0. However, there are people that have backed this game that consider it an early access title and want to see it completed. They want to see it hit that 1.0 marker, even if it is going to get updates afterwards. Even if they're happy with the game and everything that's been going on, it's just nice to say that you've supported the game all the way through. And that would be a kind thing to say about it. That would be it. But they've literally dragged this on for years and years and years, adding content, redoing stuff, and it's just nowhere near in sight. So that might piss off some people. The second part, which is going to piss off most people, is console players that have been abandoned. No updates are coming for console on 7 Days to Die. If you don't know, I've kept up this story over the last 18 months, been the one to tell you first at every step of the stage what's been happening. It wasn't the Fun Pimps' fault that their publisher, Telltale Games, bought the rights for console for 7 Days to Die, and unfortunately they went out of business a few years later. You should know that by now. It's a pretty well-known story. However, they have the opportunity to do something with them rights now. They got the rights back and their rights are theirs. They've said that they are PC developers only and they don't know how to do it on console. And what they also said in a statement was, they said they would explore all options, eventually deliver a new version of 7 Days to Die on console, but this would likely happen after the PC version has gone gold and could end up being an entirely new product or on the next console. Now, they put a lot of blame on Telltale, but the fact is they've had the rights for nearly a year now, and surely they could have done something or explored some avenues and given some people some news about what would happen. 7 Days to Die on console is still one of the most popular survival games. Even when they did this post back in October 2019, they had 10,000 users playing the game on the weekends. Console hasn't had an actual proper update since 2017. Let me sink that in for you. Nearly 3 friggin' years waiting for an update for a game that still has 10,000 players playing it. And that's peak, by the way. That's peak. That isn't exactly all the players that play it throughout the day. Just what they had at their peak. So you could easily add another 10, 20,000 players on top of that throughout that weekend. I've gone through all this before, I'm not going to rehash it, but simply put, they've just said that it would take too much time and money. But the silver lining was that we would hope that when it went gold, the full game, we might get an update to this one, or as they indeed said, maybe put it out as a brand new game on the next generation of consoles. Of course, we know now that most developers are probably working on making their game compatible for Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, likewise for the PS4 and 5. So the idea that this next generation are going to have all brand new games and you're going to have to buy the next generation of consoles to play them is a bit rubbish. It's a bit nonsense. And again, just shows how out of tune and how out of touch these PC developers are with what's going on. So when you make a joke about the game coming out on gold, you're not simply just taking a little riff on the fact you've taken so long. You're actually getting the hopes and fears up of a console player base. You're actually saying a big middle finger to your console fan base, because you're pretty much just taking the piss and saying, hey, we don't really care about you guys. And I'm not the only one. There is a bunch of comments. In fact, nearly every single comment is literally saying, wow, this ain't the one, Chief. This ain't the one. So not a good look, 7 Days to Die. You've got another update coming up very soon. They've been teasing lots of content with it, with the brand new stuff, showing off their latest thing, which is a brand new sniper rifle. I think a new model variant on the zombies, new stuff going on with guns, and of course probably one of the most exciting things, one of these bad boys. I have no idea what it really is, like some sort of drone. Screw you, 7 Days to Die and Fun Pimps. You are just awful, just a terrible, terrible communicator. You make a great little game, but you just don't know how to actually engage with your player base in a single iota. Last Oasis is making progress, but nothing really to report too much. Don't get too excited. We're hoping 7 days will be up this Sunday and Monday when the servers will come back on. Honest, I've seen so many positive comments and people just saying they can't wait for this to come back online, and I can't wait either. My guys in Discord are absolutely clucking at the thought of getting back onto this game. And what a difference from a small developer. Despite its issues and problems, it still felt like much better communication from such a small team. And the game was definitely just feeling great. It just felt good to play. I'm going to be talking about why Last Oasis has made such an impact compared to some other survival games, and why there's definitely going to be a big splurge of people playing this, and it's going to be big for the next few months. But yeah, they're still working on stuff. The latest updates were saying that they've narrowed down the issue. They're still working towards a fix, but it will take some time. They're also going to deliver a technical post-mortem for other developers so they don't make the same mistakes. So this is great news. The best way to deal with an issue or problem, recognize stuff. Don't be lying, don't be trying to sway stuff, and don't be making bad jokes. Right, it's time for the update section. Let's go with what's going on with some of your games today. Get ready for everyone in Rust to start talking Irish in potatoes. The farming update goes live today at 7 PM British Standard Time, so around 2 PM Eastern Time. It adds the sprinkler system so you can grow your own crops properly now. You can see you got your own corn, your own potatoes, your own pumpkins, and your own lovely little patches. I wonder how many people are going to get raided of their potatoes now. Mildly racist, but don't worry, I'm quarter Irish. It might not be the sexiest monthly update Rust has got, but it is more continuing, fleshing out the rest of the game, and hopefully we're going to see a little bit more than just some sweet corn and potatoes filling up our screens, and we'll see it on Xbox and PlayStation. And after a hell of a long time, Atlas has finally reared its head once more with a brand new update, and it's adding something different. It is adding an actual item. It's not just bug fixes or quality of life fixes. It is an actual functioning new feature, which is setting a light to players' ships' masts and sails, and it does look pretty cool. I've got to say, it does look pretty interesting. Of course, though, this is the first meaningful patch the game has had in 5 months. They've had some quality of life fixes, but only a couple of them over that period of time. And it wasn't something maybe not to be expected. They did announce last year that their roadmap would be considered, as they're going to go quality of life for a little while. Then they'll be focusing on ships and making them fun and making them interesting and sailing. And then taking a look at all the other things that are yet to still be implemented into the game. So the latest patch, as I said, does add the Ballista Flame Bolt. It does a bunch of stuff. Can only be extinguished by closing a sail or using a bucket of water. And by looks of things, if it's raining or snowing, you'll be in luck because it won't actually do any damage to you. The firebolts can set fire to other structures, creatures and the ground, so you've got to be careful with that as well. And they've done some other changes here that I'm not necessarily going to go through, but as ever, I'll link this, and this will all be up in my Discord too. So yeah, it's a small little addition really when you think about the grand scope of the game, and nothing like the big mega updates they had going on last year. Once again though, numbers are dipping and they're at their worst stage. Now this is maybe not too unexpected, and I'll try and be a bit fair. Their player base does come a lot from Ark Survival Evolved. It's made by the same company after all, both games, and they both heavily use the same assets or same mechanics. So obviously Genesis releasing at the end of February, and you can distinctly see a drop, people getting geared up and ready for it. Although maybe not as much of a drop as I thought, so that's pretty good to have at least 4,000 players. But remember, this is encompassing, I do believe, Xbox players as well as Steam. It's counted all as one, and so both systems, considering Xbox only launched last October, that's a pretty low number. And as you can see, it's dropping even further now. With last Oasis launching, despite its issues, it definitely took away quite a little proportion of players away from Atlas. And so they've got work to do for sure to maintain some sort of populace on this game. Bearing in mind it's meant to support up to 40,000 players when you're struggling to get the game filled up with 3,000 at any one time. I've spoke about the problems with Atlas before. Their lead developer, who only just signed on about 8 months ago, he actually quit last month and he's going to work on another game. He didn't even have time to really work on it. Most of his crew were put onto working on Ark and Genesis, hence why there were no updates. So it's a kind of a lie. I don't like the way they've gone about this. They should have just been upfront and honest and said we're using resources from Atlas to help out on Genesis. Instead they gave us some bullshit that they would just be doing quality of life improvements. And yes, they have been doing them quality of life improvements, but I think a lot of players expected a bit more. They've also been pretty silent on social media, as their social media managers are now all working on Ark. I don't want to say this game is dead once more. I've said it about twice now, but it does need a big injection of something. It needs something new. It needs a whole new facelift. It needs something to get the people playing the game, to stop people thinking it's just a horrendous cash grab. And with Ark's plans coming up, like porting over a brand new map, TLC, I don't see Atlas actually getting that much love for the next 6 months either. It's probably going to take him another month to employ another lead dev. Constantly I see it on the comments that, oh, I want this game on a PlayStation 4. Trust me, you do not want this game in its current state. It's not the worst game going on, but there's just not a lot to do. Once you've explored a few islands, and unless you're really into the PvP, which is kind of broken and unbalanced, you're going to come away very disappointed. It's got potential, and I've always said some parts of it run better than Ark. But potential is just that, potential unrealised until you actually start adding focus to this game and developing it in the right way. And clearly Wildcard have been stretching themselves to appease 2 sets of fans and once more taking on board way too much stuff. So I really don't want this to come out onto PlayStation until it's got a massive injection of content and it's definitely their focus once more. Alright, TERRARIA might not be the traditional survival game you come to expect nowadays. It really was inspired by Minecraft, just in a 2D form, and it's definitely one of my favourite games ever. Reason it's in today would have just updated Xbox and PlayStation to be on parity with PC. This is one of the last updates TERRARIA will ever get. Also, TERRARIA has sold over 30 million copies of its games across all of its platforms. That is a crazy number. But as you can see, Relogic has sold 14 million copies on PC, 7.6 million copies on consoles, and 8.7 million copies on mobile. If you don't know, TERRARIA's Journey's End is going to be the last update for the game, supposedly. It was meant to come out the end of last year, but it's been pushed back a little bit more, so we're hoping to get more news and information very soon. But it looks like they're winding up progress on it, adding new bosses, new modes, new items, and it's going to be a proper farewell to the last ever update for the game. Now that's all coming, but the update today added a bunch of new features, supposedly 4K support. I'm guessing that's for Xbox X, zoom, UI scale, so you'll be able to change stuff around, and a bunch of new furniture. It also adds more localization. This update will be coming to Nintendo Switch, but that's going to be a few weeks later. And I do believe they're adding controller support for mobile phones today as well. So not the biggest, hugest update TERRARIA's ever had, but it does add some more bits and bobs and more improvements to everyone's gameplay. So much so that TERRARIA have put out an official video showing you how to survive the first 2 days. I'm not going to lie, if you join Discord, you may see an announcement later telling you that I am playing TERRARIA on either Twitch or Mixer, so make sure you tuned in for that one if you want to see me play more of this. But for sure, the last update that ever comes out, I really will revisit this. I did so when they had the big update last year, or maybe just a little while before, and that actually did pretty well on my channel, so I'm looking forward to getting back into TERRARIA at some point. But yeah, it's nice to promote the little good milestones that some of these games can hit, and 30 million players is no joke. Now time for the recap, and forgive me if I forgot about Fallout 76, I think everyone did. But there are players excited to play the new Wastelanders update that's going to be coming out, and I missed this a week ago, but it has been delayed. Originally scheduled for April the 7th, if you was expecting this update to hit the game stores, nope, it's going to be coming out another week later. Now, Bethesda have blamed it on COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. We won't argue at this time. But of course, it is another delay for Wastelanders. Originally, it was meant to come out towards the end of the year. But they took some more time with it. They had more open betas and closed betas, I should say, for testing. So fingers crossed, finally, companions, lots of NPCs, all being added to it is really going to be a fresh new start for Fallout 76. And yes, I will be giving it a try to see how much Fallout has either improved or has kind of remained the same since then. The Black Masses is an interesting RPG survival game that's actually okay. I tried a little bit of the beta, the demo, and I'm thinking of giving it a proper whirl. Now, from what I'm told, there isn't a lot of story content in it at the moment, but it is meant to be an RPG style game set against lots of background of zombies, basically all trying out and take you down. And I do believe it's made by the same people that made one of them totally accurate battle simulator rip-offs. You know the ones, it wasn't exactly like Tabs, but it was something very similar. And obviously this was what they were maybe testing out the technology with them little games, because I think it was free by all counts. I'm pretty sure they were free. And it's all leading up to actually making it work for their proper game. Well, they had an update on Saturday that fixed a lot of issues with multiplayer. So you can play this multiplayer with your friends. So yeah, I'm going to be giving this one a try eventually. It's got mostly positive review scores at the moment. It only came out a few weeks ago, but I've not seen too many cover it on their channels. It does look absolutely bonkers, so I'm definitely going to be giving this one a shot. Obviously, today's video is all about lots of quirky little survival games that you may never have heard of, and I'm hoping I can carry on exposing you guys to more than Ark, Conan and Rust in the future. 1 Hour, One Life is a really quirky little game. Literally, you can complete your life of your character in just 1 hour. It's pretty much its whole lifetime. You then pass over your traits to your children. And I think maybe even Atlas got the idea for this, if we'll ever see that feature actually added to it. But they had an update on Saturday as well that added a much more refined ore gathering system. So definitely adding more and more to the crafting and the gathering and the survival aspects of this little quirky game. Again, you don't have to be the biggest 3D player versus dinosaurs, creatures or thrall taming game out there. You can offer something a little bit unique and different. And it's another one that I've got sitting in my library collection waiting for me to give another proper try. The art style is pretty cool as well. I know it looks a bit basic or a bit odd, but I really like the way it's done. And just to highlight again, good game developers or smaller ones that are really trying to get somewhere, they've been constantly updating their game in fact. Pretty much on a weekly basis, adding new features and functions, again from a very small team. Finishing off with upcoming, and of course Space Engineers goes live on the 14th of April. Of course, it does mean it's going to be the first time you play it on a console on Xbox One to be precise. No news about a PlayStation 4 release other than that they do want to bring it to other platforms eventually. The developers have been releasing some little vlogs on their YouTube channel showing you guys how to actually play the game. As you can imagine, one of the biggest criticisms of Space Engineers is it's quite a complicated PC survival crafting game and there's way too many keys needed. Now we've had this before, there's lots of building simulation games that they've managed to convert to controllers and it does look like they've done the job pretty well on the Xbox. As far as I was aware though, you would be able to use your keyboard and plug it in as well. I don't know if that's totally true, but you can see they have to do a 6-minute tutorial to show you how to use it. It may take a bit of time to get used to. There's so many shortcuts here, as you can tell, it's definitely going to be something that takes a bit of time. I am looking forward to this greatly. It's something I've wanted to play for a long time, but I can never really get to grip with it on PC. So I will be trying it out in the next week or so, or probably just about near launch. It's in beta at the moment. If you pre-ordered the Space Engineers game, you can then access the beta by logging in to the Insider Hub on the Xbox. And I'm just saying, dude, you look a bit blue. I think you may need to go home and have a bit of a rest. The Survivalists is something I'm looking forward to. It's coming out later on this year. It's definitely riffing on that Don't Starve vibe. I'm looking forward very much to trying this offshoot of the Escapists. There's a whole bunch of information on their website from Team 17, the publishers, as well as various video vlogs that have been publishing on their Twitter page. There's no firm concrete release date, but another little glimpse about what you can expect with the crafting and the blueprint system. It looks pretty good. It looks a little bit like Forager's crafting system where you unlock different trees and other places will expand, although it does look like it's a bit more maybe creative in how you actually craft your blueprints for your items and base parts. Also, they've been showing off in the last week or so some of the enemy types that you come to expect to face. Survivalists is a procedurally generated world, and you will hopefully come across a huge variety of different creatures. This one taking on some orcs, so there is some combat, there is going to be a bit of danger. It's not just a crafting building simulation game. And of course, don't forget as well, you're going to have your own group of trained monkeys to help you go around and build your base and build your defenses for when them enemies come and attack. They'll pretty much copy whatever you do. So you go and smash a tree, or you go and pick certain things up, and some of the monkeys will go and do that for you. I like the idea of this as well. It's also obviously got co-op, but it'll be a good alternative if you haven't got any friends like me to go play with. You can certainly get your monkeys to come and hang out with you. So yeah, another one for the future. Lots of stuff up and coming, lots of stuff from smaller games in today's news, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please make sure you've liked the video, and if you want to know more about survival games, I'm making sure I've got every survival game under the roof covered in my Discord. I've also connected it to as many other Discords as possible from the official developers, so if you don't like being in 100 million Discords, you can safely be in mine and see all the information posted directly from their announcement pages in Discords directly into mine. I'm adding more and more to it, but as you can see, the Atlas was posted immediately as soon as it went live on Discord, so you could have a little look. If there's any survival games you want me to cover, let me know in the comment section. And look out in the future, we are going to be starting to cover more military sim games and some of the other bigger ones like Escape from Tarkov. Maybe not always completely directly survival games, but they share a lot of traits and a lot of similarities. So until next time, Ratbags, I'll see you later.